WordPress websites are notorious for being hacked. Okay, if you don't keep your WordPress system up to date or your plugins up to date, you do run the risk of your site being hacked, compromised, and who knows whether you can get it back. Certainly in this example that I'm sharing with you today, this website we could not save. Okay, so this website needed to be rebuilt. So what I'm going to be showing you is a real insight into the end-to-end process of me building a website in Elementor that had been previously hacked. Okay, so we couldn't save it. We had to rely on the Wayback Machine in order to have that visual representation of what the website looked like. And I managed to rebuild it in around 2 hours. Okay, so it's going to be a fairly lengthy video, but if you are interested in learning about how we build our websites and how we can speed up the development using WordPress and Elementor, then you are going to find this whole video useful. So I'm going to be rebuilding a website today, and here is the website that we will be rebuilding. So I've had to go back onto the Wayback Machine in order to grab this website because this is a friend's website that got hacked. Okay, it's a WordPress site. It had been left for quite some time, hadn't been updated, and as a result it got compromised and I just wasn't able to save it. So it's going to be far quicker, in my opinion, just to rebuild this, and I'll show you how quick we can actually pull something like this together. So what I've got here is the existing site. We've managed to take a look at what it is. I've managed to grab all of the images, so all of these gallery images on here which are not clicking. I've managed to download those. I've found the font. We've pulled all of the other assets like this little image here, the logo, and we have a couple of other pages like resources. So we've managed to pull and download those resources as well. So we're going to be rebuilding this in Elementor. This is a much older site. This was hard coded probably 5 years ago or so. So before I certainly started using Elementor. So yeah, we're going to rebuild it. Oh, I do need to grab this image there. Didn't see that one. So yeah, we'll rebuild this in Elementor, and also because we have a gallery on the homepage, what I'm going to look to do, and also because we have a gallery on the homepage, what I am going to look to do is use CrocoBlocks, and we're going to use the gallery plugin from CrocoBlocks. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. This is a brand new, fresh install of WordPress. So this is hosted on SiteGround, which by hosting on SiteGround, it changes the look of the dashboard for us just to make it look a little bit prettier. So yeah, all right. So from here, there's a couple of admin things that we're going to need to set up first. And if I just move my face out of the way. So if we go to settings, we just want to make sure that the permalinks are set up correctly. We also want to rename this. So the site is Boxel Graphic Design. So if we go to general settings, showcasing some kick-ass work, nice. So let's have a look at what this was. So I need to look at the source code, view, and I think there's a developer option somewhere. Safari, edit. You know what, I'm just going to use Chrome. Let's just grab a Chrome window. Let's just copy this. Let's just paste this into Chrome for a second. Okay, so this video isn't going to be super polished. I'll show you how I'm doing this in real time. Let's just get it inspect. Cool. So that's all the Wayback stuff. Header. Yeah, so it's not bringing the site title in. Alright, so we don't know what the site title is, so I'm just going to leave that blank. Not a problem. And this can all be changed later, so I've got this on a temporary URL. So just so we can build it. Just save those changes. And then we're going to head to permalinks. We want this to be person, so I'm going to change this to, we're going to go category, then post name. Alright, we're going to save that, that's the permalinks, and that's it for now. So now we're going to just install some plugins. We're going to need Elementor, we're going to need Elementor Pro, and we're going to need CrocoBlocks. I think it's Jet Elements we're going to be using. And so let's go to plugins. So from here, let's just add a new one, and let's go with Elementor. Search that and install it. So you notice this is slightly different to maybe what you've got as well, mostly because this is hosted on SiteGround and the SiteGround plugin has made it a little bit prettier. Cool, so let's go skip. One sec, let's skip back. What was that? Connect your account. Okay, so we already have an account, so let's connect that. Let's just sign in. Let's get the 6th, where's that? So that's been emailed to me. All right, 1 second. Okay, so that is 287395. Cool, let's connect that. Cool, this is going to change our theme, so we need the header theme because we're using Elementor. It's the one that I often go for. Site name is correct. Do we have a logo? Yes. So we do have a logo, it's in our files. So we can just click, and we're going to drag that in there like so. Click next. Edit a blank canvas with the... Cool, we're going to go blank canvas because we're creating a custom site here. Although we are just rebuilding a site, it's still a custom site. Not a lot is going to change from this website. It's an old site, but visually it's simple and that's all the client wants. So we're not actually going to use Flexbox containers. No. Great. So here we are. So here's our first page. Cool. So this is a plain page. So I don't actually know what page this is. I think it's just randomly added it. So we're just going to go back to admin. And then we haven't finished installing plugins yet. So now we need Elementor Pro. So let's go to Elementor Pro. So visit in Elementor Pro. So I'm just going to log in and then just grab let's grab the most recent download. So that's going to download it from there. And if we click add new, and I'm going to upload, I'm just going to click, there we go, install. So we do want Crocker blocks as well, and I think it is jet elements that I'm looking for. In particular, display posts, there we go, so like portfolio gallery, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to just use this plugin in order to give us a bit more flexibility with how we present this gallery and gallery of projects, or the portfolio, let's call it. I think natively Elementor does a very good job. This just extends that functionality, so I'm going to be using this tool as well, which means we need to download it. Cool, let's activate that one. And right, let's connect and activate Elementor Pro. Same process as to installing the original one. So it's going to connect it to our account that we've logged in with, which is nice and easy. So Elementor Pro is active. We also need to install Crocker blocks. So let's go back to plugins, add new. And we've got it here. So I'm just going to upload plugin. I'll drag it in like so. Install now. And we're going to activate that as well. Great, so with Crocker block, we've got a license key that we need to add. So we're just going to click the license, add new license, and then we just paste it here. Like so, so that is actually going to just authenticate us for all plugins because we've got the account that allows us to license all of the plugins. But we only have one installed. We don't actually need any of the others at the moment, I don't think. But if we do, we can just come back and install them nice and easily. So from here, we now need to go to pages. And do you know what? Let's just delete this one. We don't need it. Delete the sample page as well. We can put that in the trash. And before we actually do pages, let's do the header. So we're going to, let's do the pages. The reason why we're going to do the pages first is because a part of the header is building the navigation, and you need the pages to be able to build the navigation. So let's do these pages first. So I'm going to just do all pages. So let's go with home, and because we are on a temp domain, we can just publish that. So we've given it a name. Right, now we can go back. So we've got our home page. Then we're going to add the resources page. So if I scroll this down, you can see that we've got resources here. So that's one page, and then we've got a contact page as well. So I'm going to publish that and then add the contact page. Was it contact me? Yeah, there we go, contact me. And publish that as well. Great, so there are 3 main pages on the site, plus we've got a policies page as well, privacy policy, which we'll add later on. So there are 3 pages. So now in order to build the nav, we are going to build, to build the header. We're going to go to templates and theme builder. So this is a part of Elementor, and then we're going to choose our header option. And we're just going to close this because we want a completely blank one. But if you did want to use any of these, you can just click one and it's going to take a pre-built header and just place it on the site, which for speed is pretty good. For now, we're just going to click on the cross and we're just going to be given this blank canvas. So our header, as you can see, let's just move that back out of the way. So our header is got the logo on the left, it's got this line, and then it's got 3 links over on the right, and the social media icons as well. So that tells me we've got 1, potentially 2, 3, 4 columns. All right, so let's go inner section, let's drop that in there. So now we've got 2 columns here, so we need to create another 1 and 2. Great. So the social media icons are going to be really small because they're over on the right. The nav is fairly short. The logo will sit here, and then there is a line in here which we need to try and create. Okay, so starting with the logo, we have the option to add widgets here. So if we click this 9 grid square, that's going to give us access to all of Elementor's widgets. And this is awesome, guys, because we can honestly just take any widget and drag it onto the page, like so. Okay, then that drags in the heading. We can change the text of our heading, and we could then come back to our grid. We could come down and we could add some more things like, okay, maybe we want an image. Okay, then it will drop an image in, and then we can choose our image from our library. So let me just grab one of the images that we need to upload anyway, which is this one. Okay, so that's awesome to see how easy it is to add an image. If we want to add other things like we could add text to sit underneath the image, we could come in here, we could then just add some text. Okay, you can edit it, you can add multiple lines. Okay, you've got a lot of flexibility here when using Elementor to build the components of a website. Now, obviously this doesn't look pretty. Okay, there's the whole concept of adding columns and placing content inside. So we could, for example, click and we could just drag that in there like so. And maybe we want to add this image to this block. Okay, you can see that it starts to stack them. You can see that it starts to position them in containers. And you know, if we wanted to, where's that text gone? Oh, the text is here. Okay, so you can relocate elements. And this, guys, this is honestly just a really quick crash course into Elementor. Okay, that's not the purpose of this this video. The purpose of the video was to show you how we can quickly rebuild an old site into Elementor because that site had been hacked, and the only way that we can get access to it is from the Wayback Machine. So yeah, that's that. And just finally, if you wanted to, you know, add a button, you know, we could. Oh, what is happening there? Wow, that's crazy. So weird. And so yeah, you can see this added a button. Maybe you want to add that button to this column. You can even rearrange columns if you like. If you're not happy with the way that they are, you can also delete columns. Okay, now if you're not happy with you deleting a column, you can just press undo. Like on the Mac, it's Command Z, and it's going to add that back in. So yeah, lots of options available to us here, which is why I love using Elementor. It's really sped up the workflow for rebuilding sites. All right, let's crack on. Let's crack on with building this header. Let's just move this out of the way again. So we don't need that image at the moment. There's nothing in there. We don't need that. We don't need this button, so we can just right click and delete, and we can delete that. Okay, so we have the option to add our site logo. Now when we installed Elementor, it asked us to upload a logo, and we did, so that should just populate there like so, which is perfect. Now I'm just going to save this as a draft. But also, I'm going to open Elementor admin in a new tab because I want to build a navigation. So we want to build this navigation now that we can add to our header, which essentially is this piece here: gallery, resources, and contact me. So from here, we're going to come down, we're going to go to appearance and then menus. And I'm just going to go main menu, just giving the menu a name. So we're going to call this main menu, and then create. Now we don't need to worry about the display location in this instance because we're just going to pull it out using Elementor. And then we're going to use these 3 pages and click add to menu. Now you'll notice that this option is called gallery. This links to the home page. It's the same page essentially. The home page is the gallery because this is a visual portfolio website. So what we need to do, we can click and rearrange these. So it goes home, resources, then contact me. And we're just going to rename this to gallery. Okay, so it's going to appear as gallery, but it's going to link to the home page. And then save that menu. Once that's been saved, we can come back to the other page. And because we've saved this as a draft, I'm just going to refresh. So refreshing it now is going to be able to identify that there is a navigation that exists. And we can just come here and click WordPress menu, drag that over here, and it's automatically found our main menu. And you can see it here. Now it's not pretty, but it's there, it works. Okay, now we have the option to style it. So before we do that, we need to figure out the fonts, the font sizing, weights, the titles, the branding of the site in essence. So let me just save this as a draft, and we just need to come away from this for a second, and we're going to hit the 3 bars here and then go to site settings. So we're just going to play around with some of the site settings, some of the global colors, global fonts. Now looking at the old site, let me just move this window out of the way. There's not really any color on the site that we need to be aware of. We've got the yellow. So let's just see how we service. Right, I'm just going to try and extract that color. So if you guys know how to, or if you guys could remind me how you inspect Element on Safari, let me know down in the comments because I can't quite figure it out. But for now, I'm just going to rely on Chrome. I use Chrome all the time, but unfortunately Chrome at the moment isn't allowing me to download images. So I've relied on Safari in order to extract the images. But if we just grab this and put it in a new window, just wait for that to load. Alright, so I've got a Chrome extension which allows me to actually colour pick. Yeah, so that's colour picking from the piece. So let's scroll down, let's try and colour pick this yellow. There we go. So that's our hex code. So I'm going to copy that. Let's just bump that out of the way, and we are going to go back to Elementor. So global colours. So primary, we've just got the grey. Let me just put this accent colour in of yellow, so which is really nice. Text. What are we looking at for text? Six, 7, 6, 7. So that's our text color. And what's our title color? Three, 3, 3, 3. And we're also going to set that to our primary color as well. So the primary, you'd usually have 2 colors here if you wanted to. The primary kind of tends to go on all of the headers. We want all of our headers to be that color. Our secondary color, we just keep that the same for now. If we notice that it needs to be something else, then we'll change it. But I think that's all we need for now. We don't need any additional colors for this. We could add more, but this is such a simple site, we don't really need to. So let's go back, and then we've got global fonts. So we need to add custom fonts. So if we go to primary, so our primary font is, so we've got a custom font that we need to add here, which I believe is Neo Sans. Okay, so what we need to do is we're just going to update this, and we're going to come back over here because we need to access the dashboard again, and we are going to go to Elementor, custom fonts, and we're just going to upload these fonts. So we're going to add new, add font variation. Can I just drag this in? No. So these are OTF files. So the best thing to do is just to upload. There we go. Can I upload all of these? What? Oh, that's EOT. My bad. Why can't I add an OTF? Okay, so the OTF file isn't uploaded, and we're not going to be able to upload that. It's likely that it's not a web font. So I'm just going to Google search Neo Sans alternatives. Let's see what comes up. Hopefully, we can find a web font alternative. Amateur to replace Neo Sans for free. Cool. Let's have a look. Google Fonts. Let's search for Amateur. Awesome. I think that's actually a really close example. Although there's only one weight, which isn't ideal. Let's download that anyway. Google font like Neo Sans. What are they suggesting in here? Titanium. Let's have a look. Again, that is very similar. Awesome. Okay, we've actually got a few here, so I'm going to download the family. Actually, no, I don't even need to download the family. Okay, Elementor is awesome. It will allow us to just add that font. So primary, we're just going to search Titanium web. I don't know why it's looking like that. Maybe that's not coming across. And this is going to be Titanium Web 2. Text we're going to have as Titanium. Ah, there we go. It's showing the style now, which is awesome. And then our accent is also going to be Titanium. So we're just using one font. Okay, you would have the option to mix and match fonts if you want. You know, you could have a heading font, you could have a separate body font. That tends to work really well and make the site look nice. We only need one for this project. So they are all the same. So primary, that's going to be bold. How big is bold actually? We can look at this and we can see that bold, see bold is fine. Semi-bold is probably too thin. So we need bold for our headings, and then we can use regular, I believe regular or light for our body. Let's just refer back to, yeah, so that's probably regular that's going to work. So primary, secondary, I'm just going to have that as semi-bold. And then our text is normal, and our accent is, let's just keep that as medium, let's see what it does. All right, let's update that. So that's fonts applied. Now we need to change typography. So this is where we actually go about assigning font sizes for specific parts of the site. So like the body, the headings, links, etc., etc. So the body, the text color, we've got, if we click the globe, we now have our global colors. So we've got primary, and if we click typography, we've got text. Okay, so that is using our primary font that we've just set up here in our global font. So text, just to remind ourselves, pixels wise, I'm just going to set it as 18, and that's going to be across the board, all devices. I'm just going to keep it as 18, and let's just update that. We're actually not going to set a size for the rest. Actually, sorry, let's go 18 for accent as well. But for primary, because we're going to be using those for the titles, we're actually going to assign those under typography. So body is going to be using the primary color and the text. Link is going to be using Oh, what's going on there? Let's click update. It seems to be glitching, which is unusual. There we go. Right, that seems to be working. So our links are going to be yellow. So you can see that they've turned yellow. Our links have turned yellow already. Typography, we're going to have text. And then H1, we're going to have as primary color. We're going to have primary font, typography, primary font, primary color, primary, and so on and so on. Cool. So that's that. So by default, Elementor is going to create a hierarchy with our fonts. H1 is going to be our biggest, and then H2 is going to be slightly smaller, H3 is going to be smaller again, and so on and so on. Now, depending on how big you want your heading 1 font to be, you will have the option to change it here. So if we want it larger, we'd come in, we'd click the pencil. It's going to automatically choose Titanium Web because that's our default font now. And then we can choose our size here. So let's just refer back to this. Now I want to see, oh guys, this not being able to use the inspect element on Safari is crazy. Right, so we need to go to developer menu, open Safari browser and click Safari settings. Okay, Safari settings. No, what? Preferences. Advanced, I believe it is. Show develop. Way right. Now we're cooking. Right, develop. Also, there we go. So inspect. Ta-da! Done it. Alright, so that is the H1, and the H1 is a font size of 36 pixels. So if we go back to our Elementor, I want to know what this is. So this is font size 40 pixels. I think for this instance, I quite prefer it that it's larger. Certainly the way that the web has changed with refining headings and text is certainly a lot larger. So I'm happy to change that from 36 and leave it at 40. So I'm comfortable enough to leave these as they are and create that hierarchy. But if you, of course, wanted to specifically change that to 36, you would just come in and change that to 36 pixels. And you should see that that one has changed. Unless I applied that to another. No, H1, 36. And you can see that it has changed there. If I delete it, slightly larger. Only by 4 pixels, so you know it's marginal. So that's that. So that's all our headings done. And let's create some buttons. Now we're not going to be able to see what these are because you haven't dragged any onto the page. So actually we're just going to leave that for now. So let's click update. At least for now, we can go back and we can actually continue editing our content. So let's remove that. Okay, how's this looking on wide? There we go. Oh wow, that's annoying. Great, let's edit. So we're going to edit this. Let's edit our navigation, let's style it. So if you look here, it's a bolder and it's slightly smaller. So what font is this? Inspect element. Sorry, font size. So line height. Font size 16, so quite small. So let's have a look at what this looks like 18. 18 is definitely kind of replaced the traditional 16 pixel font, which was the norm a few years ago. 18 pixels, everything is a lot larger, so 18 pixels tends to be the norm. So I'm going to see what this looks like at 18 pixels. Or in fact, that is already 18 pixels. Just go to style, and then typography, we're going to go text, but we're going to add the weight. So we want this to be bold. There we go. We want to change the color as well. So we want our color to be primary, and on hover, we're actually going to change these to yellow. So we want to have that accent color, so we're going to change that to accent. So we go, when we hover over them, they go yellow. I'm going to remove this bar underneath. So by default, what it's doing is adding the pointer. So we're going to put that to none. We're going to align it to the middle. Actually, we're going to stretch it. So it's going to separate them all out evenly. And hamburger. So the hamburger is going to appear on tablet. So that will switch to a hamburger on tablet. And just to show you what that will look like, if we click responsive and go to tablet, you'll see that now transforms into a hamburger. So I'm going to push it over to the left. Now you'll see that everything is positioned at the top. We need to change that. So I am going to just come back to desktop view because that's what we're working with. And to show you really what I mean, let's just continue editing this for a second and go to style. And I want the padding, so the space between, I want that to be reduced, horizontal padding. We're going to, there we go. And it's normally putting it in real time. And add some vertical padding. So you can see that it's placed it at the top. Before we move on, let me just add this line. So I'm not entirely sure how we're going to add this. So we've got a divider. Okay, there's our divider. So it's added the line. Perfect. Width, style, weight. So we want it to be a bit thicker. I think 2 pixels is probably fine. And we want to change that to our primary color so it's the same. All right, so that is, I know it's a bit smaller on the screen, but that is replicating this at a slightly different width. So what we want to do now is make all of this central. We want it to run in one line in the center line of all of these boxes. So we can click on our grid here. So we're going to select our outer container and grid in our horizontal line. We want to be center. Vertical line we want to be middle. Intersection. Okay. There we go. I had the wrong option selected. So we want our intersection. So this is where the navigator comes in useful, guys. So our intersection, we've assigned that to the middle, like so. Right, now let's just move this navigator. We can afford to make that a bit smaller, squash those together a little bit. Let's make the logo slightly smaller too. It's still a very good size. And then over here we need our social media icons. So we have the option to add those. Go back to the grid, and what we want to look for is our icons, like so. Okay, let's remove that. We're going to use something else. The reason why we're not using this is because we need to add them separately, and I want them to run in a line. So actually what we can do is in fact use, where is it? It's a list. I'm looking for a list. Let's go icon. There we go. Icon list. So I'm going to click add that in there. And you can see this add in text. And we don't want a text, so we can delete that. Like so. We can change the icon to Facebook. And insert that. And then we can delete that one. I'm just going to duplicate the Facebook icon. And what is it? It is Instagram. So we're going to change that one to Instagram. Like so. And then we're going to run those in line like that. And now if we go to style, we're going to put this in the center. And let's make them bigger. They need to be there. They're only 14 pixels. So they're now 18. And you can see that there's nice spacing between each of those. So now let's find the links themselves. So we are going to go back to here and we're going to inspect. Is there a way that I can edit that? There we go. So I just want the Facebook link here, like so. And so guys, I don't usually work like this. I don't usually work with these messy windows stacking on top of each other. I have a separate monitor, but in order to record the screen, it's a lot easier. Great, so we've got our first one. Our first link is Facebook, so we're going to paste that into link there. And then next we have got Instagram, so I'm going to also grab that link like so, and we can double click inside there and copy. Cool. And let's publish it. Okay, actually before we publish it, let us change the style of this. They've gone yellow. Okay, they've gone yellow because we turned them into links, and links are our accent color, and our accent color is yellow. So we can change the color to primary like so. Hover, we can change the color to accent, so they're going to behave in the same way as these links, as you can see, which is great. Excuse me. And yeah, that's that. So I'm just going to say this as a draft. Now what we want to do is look at the responsiveness. So when we get to this size, you can see that we've got a lot more space here to play with, and if we click the navigation, it's opening up in here. So we've got a couple of problems that we need to fix. First of all, this needs to be wider, and this needs to work outside of this grid. So we can edit this first. It's really quite simple. When we click drop down, what we want, under content, not style, what we want to do is have it full width. So it's now going to be full width. So it's going to come out of the header block and it will appear full width. So we can now style the way that this looks. So first of all, we can style the way the hamburger looks. So if we go to toggle button, we can style how that looks. So we're going to go color and primary background color. We are going to set to white. Okay, now it just looks like an icon. So we click it, the hamburger menu comes back. Click it, the X comes back. All right. So now that's done, we can now change the way that this looks. So if we get a drop down, first of all, we can change the distance from where it appears. So we can make it appear slightly lower down. Cool. Now we've got hovers, they are all yellow, so there's one thing we need to change. The hover is probably fine, but I think maybe we'll invert it because this needs to stand out a lot more. It doesn't really stand out on the white, and if you're using it on a device and it just appears, you might not see it. So we really need to emphasize that it's appeared. So the way that we're going to do this is, if we scroll up, we've got style, and we're going to be styling the drop down. So our text color, we're going to have primary, like so. Actually, in fact, background, we're going to have as primary. Text color, we're going to have as white. Okay, there we go. Now this looks a little bit cramped for my liking, so what we're going to do is add some vertical padding, and we can really open those up like so. I also want them to position themselves in the middle. Okay, they look a bit strange over to the left, so we're going to align those to the middle. And the best way to do that, actually, I think, is in content, like so. We can position that, and that's the toggle button. Alright, I'm having trouble finding that. I mean, a lot has changed in Elementor recently. It's had a load of updates. So guys, if any of you know watching this, how we can move these to the center, please let me know down in the comments. I'd really, really appreciate it. So for now, we'll just leave them there. If I do come across it, I'll flag it, but I can't see it, obviously. Okay, I found it, it's here. So it's text align. So usually it's icons like this that you can align it, but we can just center align the text in the middle like so. Okay, cool, I'm happy with that. The hover is nice and subtle. And so yeah, let's carry on. Let's see what this looks like in mobile. So in mobile it is a bit of a mess. So I think first of all we need this to be quite a bit smaller. So we're going to be amending some of these columns. So we've got column 1, which is the logo. Let's put that at let's go 50%. And then the next one, we're going to keep this really small. So we've got 50, so this works at 100%. So we've got 50%, 20%, 20%. So, bad maths, 50, 20, that gives us 20. In fact, I'm going to change that to 10, 15. Let's go 15 and then 15. Which fits, so that doesn't, I mean, it doesn't stack very well. So this, I mean, this line's not important, so let's just change that to 10. Let's go 15. 15, and then we need some more space for this one, which we can bump up to 20. And it's still not stacking. So we're gonna have to change some of the padding. So if we just add 0 padding, like so, content. Cool. Alright, so that fits. However, the alignment is a bit strange on that one. So vertical align, horizontal align, which is going to go end. Okay. And yeah, I mean, this is looking, it's not brilliant, but it's certainly looking okay. I'm actually, guys, I'm going to get rid of this line. I think it's a little bit, from a user standpoint, it's a bit confusing next to this hamburger icon. So I'm actually going to just get rid of that. So we can click this, and then if we go to advanced and come down to responsive, we can click hide on mobile. Yeah, so that will just completely remove it. And so now when we view it, it looks slightly better. So we can actually, we've got this extra 20% to play with now. If I go to intersection, so this, we've got an extra 20%, so I'm actually going to just put this at 35. If I now do that, it's not come down, so 30, there we go. And let's make this slightly larger again. No, we want those to be 18. Container wise, what's going on there? What's going on with these? Why are these not? Default. So we just need to change the layout for this particular item. So we change it to, if we change it to, well, we just bump it up until it sits in line, and we go 70, that should be fine. And now we need to go back and adjust this. 30, still no good. 25, still no good. So maybe it's 20. I can't remember how I've set all of these. There we go. Right, I'm happy with that. That's looking much better. You've got our navigation. So there's our mobile menu. Let's just check this on tablet. So we're having the same problem on tablet. Great, so let's try and keep this line. So we're going to assign this to 30%. We're going to assign this to 20%. Okay, we know that this has a weird custom width. I'm going to change it to full width. So this is 30. if we change that to 30 and we change that to 25, and then if we change this one to 15, like so. In fact, this is going to be even smaller. This can be tiny because that's going to allow us to bring this line over. So this one can be 40. No, sorry, 15. Let's go 10. Right, let's go 10. Right, now this line can be much wider. So this could, I believe, be 50 or 40. 45. There we go. Right, that's looking good to me. So we've got our desktop, which if we collapse like that, it's fine. Then we've got our tablet and we've got our mobile. Great, mobile's broken. Why is the mobile broken? This is... There we go. Right, sorted, all done. Okay, that's our header done. So now if we click publish, what we want to do now is we want to display this header everywhere. So we're going to say add condition, and it's going to allow us to display it around the entire site. And then we click save and close. That's going to save and then apply it to all of our pages. So now let's go back to exit. And what we're going to do is go to WP dashboard and click apply. Right, update. Let's hit update first, guys. Don't forget update. Alright, there's no good if you've done all of these changes and you don't update them. Now let's exit. Great. Now let's go back to pages and we're going to edit this homepage. Great. This is editing the homepage. Now what we want to do here is just click edit with Elementor. That's going to take us back to Elementor. And you can see this is how it is looking. Now ignore that this is broken, because if we make it full width, you can see that it works, which is fantastic. One thing I do want to check while we're here though is the width of the website. Okay, let's see what this width is and whether we have the opportunity to make it slightly wider. So we can come here, go to site settings, and it is under layout. Okay, so it's 1140. Do you know what? I'm happy with that. You can make it longer or wider if you like, but for desktop, I think, and certainly for this site, I think it's absolutely fine. So let's just close out of here. Now we don't want this, we don't want that there. We are going to put in a custom one for specifically our homepage. So we're going to come to settings and we will hide title, like so. Right, now let's look at this site. Let's re-familiarize ourselves with it. Let's just close this. So we've got our heading 1 here. So we've got a heading at the top, and then we've got like 2 columns here. One probably what, 75, 25%, 75%, 25%. Let's see what that looks like. I might, when rebuilding this, have just 2 columns rather than 3 to make the images much larger, but we'll see what that looks like when we come to build it. So let's come back to here. So we're going to come back to our grid and we're going to add a heading, and that's going to appear right there. And what we're going to do is bring in, you know, we're just going to call this, what is it? Gallery. So it is our gallery. So we're going to call this gallery. Alright, so that's our gallery added. Now we actually want to add our gallery. So how are we going to build this? Actually, I think it's probably pretty straightforward. I don't think we need any custom post types or anything. So we're going to add our intersection, like so. This is going to allow us to create our split, and we can use a structure. So we can do 66.3. Let's see what that looks like full width. We can't see it yet. Great, so let's just add gallery. Okay, so we want to come back to crockery blocks. We want the portfolio gallery. So we want this. What's the plugin? It's Jet Elements. Oh, it was Jet Elements that I installed. I'm sure it was. Let's have a look. So we've got Jet Elements installed. So why are they not showing? Here they are. So we've got them all here. So let's try and find a gallery. Explore pre-made gallery options. Right, this is great. How do we actually use it? How it works? Let's have a look. Alright, it's called portfolio. That makes it a lot easier. However, I'm not sure if I want to be adding them. I ideally just want to upload a gallery. Like, we want this really simple. I don't think we need this level of functionality. So in order to replicate the functionality that exists on this site, we just need a pop-up box. So we just want it to load in a pop-up. So I think actually maybe the native gallery is just going to allow us to do that. Let's put this one in. Oh, great. So this is where we can very easily add our gallery. Okay, let's just remove this one. We don't need it anymore. We can delete it. And let's add our gallery. So we've got all of our images in a folder, which is in here. Okay, and we can just simply click and drag all of them in, like so, and just wait for them to upload. Awesome, they are all uploaded. So in this instance, I'm just going to create a new gallery, like so. We don't need any captions, and I'm just going to insert them. So there they all are, which is super easy. Now, I did say I want to try this in 2 columns. So what we can do is we can come down to here. But first of all, let's just change the layout. I'm going to try masonry because these are all different sizes. This one shouldn't even be in there. So let's come back in here and edit the gallery. This is my bad. Delete that. Is there any more that shouldn't be in here? No, that is fine. Great. So they're all, I think, similar sizes. So masonry maybe won't even work. Spacing, so I'm going to change this to 20. And cool. Okay, so let's put this back into 3 columns. Great, so there's 2 columns. So yeah, I think that looks fine. And I'm going to see what it looks like once we add our text block over this one here. Once we've added this block of text and this image, let's see how that looks. Great, so all looking good. Let's just add the text. Great, so we can come back to our Elementor elements. I'm going to drag in a heading. This is going to be a heading 3. Okay, this should say about me. Oh no, my bad, it should say what I do. And I'm just going to copy all of this. And then we are going to add more text. So come back to Elementor, click and drag the text in, paste that in there, like so. And yeah, happy days. So that's easy. Now we need our image. So I'm going to come in and we're going to add an image like so. And there's this one here. There we go. Right, now let's just have a look at how this is spaced. So we've got a bit of padding that we need to add here. It doesn't look as if there's enough. So I'm going to just apply this to this column, this entire column. We can go to advanced, and I'm going to unlink them, and on the left side, I'm just going to change this to M's, and we're just going to add like 2. Okay, so that spacing is much better in my opinion. So Yeah, I think this is looking a lot nicer. This column is a bit wider than previous, which, do you know what I think is okay? It gives us that split 30-30, or 33-33-33, which is the 66 and 33 spacing. We could technically drag that over a bit more. Let's see what that looks like. Which allows us to make these images slightly larger. So these images they're looking pretty pixelated. I don't know if you can see. So we need to change the quality that's coming in. So let's edit this. So the quality that's coming in is medium. So let's make them large. There we go, that's already a lot clearer. So they were pixelated because they were trying to bring in a smaller version and like upscale it, which isn't ideal. Awesome, right, let's have a look at the overlay. So we can probably add, if we add the title, I don't think that's not ideal. So we're just gonna go with none, background, title, yeah. So that is that. Like, this is the simplest form. And so if we just click update, that is the gallery added. Now you'll notice on the other site, this works as a fixed position. So we can actually achieve that as well. So we can click this block here. And if we go to advanced, we can go to motion effects and we can go to scrolling effects. And I'm pretty sure that somewhere there is a fixed option. So let me check. Why won't that fix? Why won't that fix? So if I click this entire inner section, we can only apply the fix to the inner section. So we go to motion effects, we can actually add sticky. So if I scroll now, you'll see that it's stuck. Okay, now we only want this to apply to this section here. So actually we need to find a way where this entire section, let me just back up. We can't add multiple, natively as standard, we can't add multiple intersections. We can't add a section inside a section, which sucks. But what we want to do is we're actually going to have to apply the 66 rule on this section. So I'm going to add a new column, okay? It's split it 50-50, which is fine. Now what I want to do is I want to add an intersection to this half, like so, and I'm going to remove this column. So we've got an intersection, so we can make this sticky. Now we need to drag our text into this section as well as our image. Okay, we can remove this block. Okay, now we've got that 50-50 split. So we need to select this content block and we are going to change the structure to 66-33. It pushes it back over, but we want to make that even shorter, like so. And now, okay, that's still got the fixed on it. So I need to remove that. Sticky, none. We want to apply the fixed block to this. So this intersection we want to add sticky. So under advanced, motion effects, sticky, I'm going to say top, and there you go. And that scrolls nicely now all the way to the bottom. So effects offset, so we just want to make sure that there's no offset. Stay in column, yes. Great, so turning stay in column will mean that it doesn't reach the footer and overlay it. It's going to stay in its parent column. So there we go. That's that done, which is really nice. So I'm just going to update that. And one thing I also want to check is the spacing. So we need to add some spacing below the logo but above the heading. So we can click on this block here, and do you know what? Actually, I'm going to go back. We're going to edit the footer, the header, and we're going to apply that spacing on the header, because otherwise, when we create these pages individually, we'll have to add the same padding to the title, which just seems unnecessary when we can apply it once to the header. So we're going to edit the header, click on this main block, and move it advanced. and then margin, we're going to unlink them, and I'm going to change this to M, and I'm going to go 2, actually just go 3. And then on a tablet device, we are going to go, that's applied it to both. So on a tablet device, we're going to go 2. Let me see what that looks like. Do you know what, it's probably too much. On a tablet, it seems to be fine. Actually saying that, let's add 1. So on a tablet, we're going to add 1. And then on a mobile, how's that looking? Mobile, we are going to have 0. Like so, okay. And update. Okay, so that's updated the header. Now let's go back to edit the page. Okay, it's looking good. Awesome. So in comparison to this, I mean, it's looking pretty much there. We need to add a footer because this is a very basic footer. So the way that we can actually achieve that is, again, similar to the header. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the dashboard, and what we do is we go to templates, theme builder. Instead of selecting the header this time, we're going to select footer, and then we're going to click add new. And again, it's going to allow us to choose a pre-built footer, but in this instance, because we're building it from scratch, we're just going to click no. And we're going to drag in a site section. Here it is, site section. And we're going to grab our text from here. Copyright, all right, reserved. Like so. And, right, let's add text. Well, first of all, let's add the background. So we're going to add the background color. Under style, backgrounds, we're going to add classic, default, and its primary color. And then we're just going to add text. So let's go text. And do you know what? Let's delete that. We don't want a WYSIWYG header. So now the reason for this is I want to be able to bring the date in to be dynamic. So we want that dynamic date. We want, whenever it says copyright 2022, we want it to be the current year. Now this is 2022 in 2023 because I've gone back on way back to 2022. So that would have been the year stamp then. So let's just add in, I'm going to add in a heading, and I'm going to click dynamic tag, and we're going to go current date time. There we go. Now for you to be able to see this, let's change the color quickly to white. Okay, you can see this bringing in the date. Okay, more specifically, it's bringing in the year. So that's all we want from here. So let's edit this now. Go to content, and we're going to click inside here, and we're going to change the date format to custom, and I believe it's just a Y. So we just want the year. We can delete all the rest, and that's just going to show 2023. Okay, now if we click advanced, we can add this text before. So we can say copy right 2023, and then after we're going to add that comma, and then we're going to add the rest like so. Okay, actually just get rid of the comma, we don't need it, but we need that space. So copyright 2023, box or graphic design, all rights reserved. So that is that first bit done. Great. Now, because this is the title, we need to restyle it. We're going to go to typography and text. So just keep it as a normal text size, like so. But we certainly need to add more padding to this. So let's choose the outer container, advanced, and padding. We want it to the top and the bottom. Again, I'm going to choose M, so probably 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. That's fine. I'm going to drag that over. And also, just move my face, we need to add the social icons. So actually, what we can do is, I'm just going to publish this as it is. The condition is the entire site again. Similar to the header, we want this to appear on the entire site. So I want to grab these, so I'm going to click edit header, and I'm actually going to right click, and I'm going to copy these, and I'm going to come back down to footer. I'm going to edit footer, and I'm going to paste them like so. Now you can't see them because they're dark, but if we come over here, click icon and change the color to white, ta-da! Okay, we now have our social icons already linked, which is awesome. Now, what are we going to do? We need to reposition these. We want them to be over to the right. Why isn't that going over to the right? That's why. Cool. So they are over to the right now. Like so. Right now, we need to add the link to policies. Okay, we need to apply that link to policies in here. So I want us to be, we're going to change this to inline. So I want to position the width to be inline, and I'm also going to duplicate this. Okay, so we've got that. Now it's stacking because it's too wide. Oh, where's it gone? So this is going to be policies, and we want to link to the privacy policy. But we can't see that because it's a stellar draft. So it's going to add that in there. HTML tag is going to be P. This, remember actually to change the HTML tag to P. Style, let's go accent, and we can just bump that over. So we can add some margin on the right, so on the left, I'm just going to create some space there, like so, and update. Cool. So responsive mode, tablet, that is fine. Mobile, not so much. So on a mobile, what we're going to do is we're going to position all of this to be in the middle. Actually, that's not going to work. So on a mobile, we want this to be in the middle. Like say, on a mobile, we are going to have this as full width. Okay, and we want to change the position to center. And we need to add some spacing. So I'm going to apply it to this, I think. Yeah, we're just going to add some spacing to... Actually, let me just check something. We want to add spacing to the paragraphs. So let me just update this. And if we go back to global site settings, and we go to typography, and we go to body, and we, actually, my bad. Let's go to global fonts and text. So line height, I'm just going to change that to 1.3, but it doesn't do anything. So if we go to layout, so we've got 20 pixels that should be appearing under there. Right, so actually, I am going to apply the padding to this. So left, we're going to have 0 margin, but on the top, we're just at 10. That's going to apply all round, so I just want it to be on the top. So 15. 15, there we go. That spacing is much better, and then we want to align these to the middle, like so. So that is all looking fine to me. So that looks fine, and yeah, that was also fine. Cool, so that's our footer done. Let's update that. And we're going to come back to the home page. And what we're going to do now is if we just refresh this, our footer, I'm not sure if we just called it a header, but our footer will now be present on the site, like say. So if we preview that, that is what it's looking like. So actually we need to add some spacing to our footer as well. We need to add some margin to the top, similar to our headings. So we're going to put 2 because we're on tablet, 3 because, remember to unchain, 3 because we're on desktop, and 1 because we are on mobile. Okay, update that. Now if we should come on, load. I should, if we preview, scroll down, where's that space? Come on, is that not saved? Did it apply? Yeah, so, I mean, the margin has applied. Ah, that's pixels, that's why. My bad, so 3M. Let's just double check that. That's 2M. And on mobile we want 1M. Right, let's update that again. So there was an error there. It was trying to render pixels, which it's probably doing, but there was only 3 pixels, which wasn't very much at all. So let's refresh. Let's preview that. Let's scroll down. There we go. Now we've got a nice space. We've got our footer as well, and we've got our social links, which is awesome. Great. What's next? So that's, in my opinion, that page is done. So now let's go to resources. So we've got a very similar layout to our homepage, which is awesome. Great. So we've got two images with a link and some text. And do you see what, guys? Do you see what I mean about this site being hacked? So the site got hacked. It broke. It had a diversion on it, all sorts. So you can see clearly here. I mean, this has been happening for a while. So if this happened in 2022, then that's insane. So it's a long time that site had been hacked. So now that it's been flagged, though, we can rebuild it, we can fix it, we can make it more secure, we can update it, all sorts. Which is why. You need to look after your websites, guys. If you don't, this is what happens. This is what happens if you don't keep things up to date. So it is really important that when you have a WordPress website, keep all of your plugins up to date, keep your themes up to date, keep WordPress core up to date as well. Great. So resources wise, so we're going to come back to here. Actually, no, we don't need this page anymore. Yes, we do. So let me just open another tab. What we need to pretty much just copy all of this. So I'm going to come back here and we're going to exit. We're going to exit to the dashboard, go back to pages, and this time we're going to edit resources. So let me just open this into a new tab, just in case we still need a quick way back to our dashboard. And then edit with Elementor. Now, as you can see, as I said, the layout is very similar. It's very similar to what we've got. So let me just copy this first and foremost. I downloaded this at the beginning of the video, so I do have it. So resources, that's super interesting why it's doing that, but cool. Let's just copy this. Copy, I'm going to paste it in here. Remember to go to settings and remove title. So we're going to go use a dynamic tag here and go to post title, and that will display resources. Next we need our actual block. So we're going to paste that in there like that. Cool. So let's just delete our gallery. We don't need it in here, but we still got this whole like 70% container, let's say. Let's come back here, copy this text. Let's add the navigator back up there. Click inside here, we can paste in there like so. I'm going to cut this out and click on this title and paste it. And I'm going to edit this image as well. So this image is it in here? No. So let's drag that in there like so. Share the love, drag that in, select, boom. That is in, that was quick. Right, now we need a way to add these resources. What would be the best way to do this? I'm thinking we might use a custom field, almost like a blog functionality, but perhaps just display them a little bit better because, I mean, this isn't too pretty. Cool, let's do that. All right, and click update for now. All right, we're gonna come back here and we're gonna need another CrocoBlox plugin. So actually what we're gonna need is Jet Engine. So this is gonna allow us to build custom post types. So from here, we will go to plugins. Actually, no, we can go to CrocoBlox, we can go to dashboard, and we can find one of the other plugins. Updates and installation, there we go. So we need Jet Engine. So if you don't want to buy Jet Engine, there is an alternative way to do this. I mean, we don't need Jet Elements anymore, so I'm going to deactivate that because we didn't use the gallery. I'm not allowed to access that page. That's strange, I'm an admin. That must be a quirk. So let's go back to plugins. Actually, where's it gone? CrocoBlox has just disappeared. So plugins, okay, let's see. Jet Engine, activate that. So as I was saying, if you don't want to pay for Jet Engine, you can use other advanced custom field, other custom field plugins and custom post type plugins. There are others available, you just have to crawl through the library. If you were to go in and search custom post types, I think there's a plugin called Custom Post Types UI. Okay, I've used this one before, so definitely rate it. If you don't want to use Jet, but these days I 100% recommend Jet. Okay, these plugins make life of a designer or a developer so much easier. So that's installed. Okay, now what we can do is we can create a post type. From here we're going to add new, and this post type is going to be resources. Honestly guys, I don't know what that means, so I'm just going to leave it. Labels, you can change labels if you want, but again I'm just going to leave it and go to advanced. And what we want to do is, we don't want to exclude it from search, but the type is a post. You can have a post or page, so I'm going to post. Has archives, so enables posts type archives. Yes, hierarchical. So if it's hierarchical, probably going to be a page. Okay, this isn't. We're going to use it as a post because we're going to be posting singular resources. And let's change our icon to, I guess, something that illustrates resources. So maybe that one. What else have we got? Oh my god, there is loads, guys. Oh, was that a hammer? I quite like the idea of a hammer for resources because they're like tools, and it supports custom fields. Featured image. We want to add the featured image, so let's add the post type. Great. So do we need any other meta fields? So meta fields are going to be custom fields within this post type. I think ultimately we don't. We've got the featured image or the thumbnail here. We've got the text, so the content. We can maybe have these as buttons. So yeah, let's have this as buttons. Actually, no, what we're going to do is, I think we're going to create like a card. So we create a card with a button. How is that going to work? We've got 2 here, so actually I think maybe we need perhaps like a repeatable field. But this has one. Okay, well, since I don't really understand why there's 2, they do both link off to the same thing. I'm actually just going to go down the route of having 1 link, so we can actually create these into a type of card. So we don't need any meta fields. Now that I've updated this, okay, you'll see that there's an option called post types, and there's resources. So we now have resources. So we click under resources and click add. It's going to allow us to add a resource. So our first resource that we should add, we can work from bottom to top because this was the oldest, so it goes from oldest to newest. So if we add this one first, it will be our oldest. Bee garden infographic. So let's come back here and paste that in. And if we come, what we do is I'm going to grab the content and we're going to paste it in here. Okay, and we're not going to hit publish yet because we need the thumbnail. Now this thumbnail I think is going to be a little bit too small, so I'm just going to actually go to the file, so let's just see what this looks like. Great. So I'm actually this is a bit of a hack. I'm actually going to screenshot this so we have a much larger option to work with. Like so, and also I'm going to do that with the other one. Just get it ready. Pumpkin faces. So let's fit all of that in. Let's print screen. Cool, so we should have those on our desktop now. So we're going to drag those into here. So we've got make your pumpkin, so I'm just going to rename this. And then we've got, oh wait, no, that's make your bee garden, so I've named that wrong. Save that one. That's better. Make your pumpkin faces, and then we've got make your own bee garden. Like so. Cool. Now we have larger screenshots of those images. We've got some cards that we can play with. Great, so we've added 1. Let's add the featured image. Where is it? Resources, featured image, set featured image. So this is the B one. Let's add that. Publish. So that one's going to be added. Now let's add a new one. So now let's add spooky pumpkin. Like so. And resources and set featured image. And let's go grab that image. Now I've just realized that I missed something. Okay, I've missed the ability to add download links. So let's just publish those. Now completely come back out of here and we're going to go back to Jet Engine and we're going to go back to listings. Post type, sorry, resources, and we are actually going to add a meta field, okay, and this is going to be called download link, okay, and it's going to give it a name that needs to be unique. So this is going to be a field type, and we're going to change it to where's URL? Media, that'll do because we are linking to media. And great, that's enough. We don't need to go as far as like assigning field widths because we haven't got multiple fields happening here. We've just got the single meta field. So now if we go back to resources and we click edit and we scroll down, you can see that we now have the download link. Okay, so for the spooky pumpkin face, we now need to add our spooky pumpkin face PDF. Drag that in, choose file, let's just move me back down there and update. So that file is now added. Click update. Let's come back. Let's do the same with the bee garden. Scroll down, add media, find the media, drag it in, choose the media, and click update. Cool, so we now have our resources. We have our resources built, but now we just need to find a way to output them, okay? We want to ideally output them better than they've been outputted here. Okay, this is a little bit messy. So I'm gonna do this on the fly. So this, could be a disaster, but I think what I might do is actually, because we are using CrocoBlock still, I'm going to use a custom loop. Okay, we're going to create a custom option that we can loop out. So let me just show you what that will look like. So what we're going to do is go to Jet Engine listings. Okay, we're going to create a new listing, and it's going to be a post. Okay, and it's going to come from where is it? Resources. There it is. Okay, we want the form post type to be resources, so it's going to look at our resources. It's going to spit all of our resources out. So we're going to call this resources. And the listing view is in Elementor, so create listing. Great, so we're going to build like one individual card here. So let's go with image. Just dump an image in, so you can see this is really big, so it's going to look really bizarre until we get it on the other side. So we need to change this to a dynamic tag, and we're going to click featured image. Okay, it's going to pull through the featured image. Then underneath, underneath we're going to go title underneath. So we're going to keep this quite uniform. So we're going to have a heading underneath. That needs to be our post title. Then we're going to add our post content. That needs to be dynamic, and that needs to be our post. Where is it? Post. Where's our post content? Madness. Where is our post content? So we can add a post excerpt, which is crazy. Do you know what? I'm going to change this to like 500. I don't think there's ever a scenario really where there's going to be more than 500 words based on what's already there. So it's going to output the excerpt. I can delete this. No, it doesn't look ideal, but it will come through. So let's add. Let's add the button. Okay, we need to add the download button. Let's drag that in. Okay. So we're going to style this. So our button is going to be yellow. And I think let's try what this looks like with, where's the text? There we go, text. Okay. And typography. Let's go primary. It's going to be nice and bold. So now you can see there's some space on the left hand side, which is more than the right. That is because it is including an icon. So we can either remove the icon spacing, okay, like so, or we can actually add an icon. And I'm going to add a PDF icon. Okay, we're going to add some spacing, and then we're going to change the words to download. Download PDF. Okay, and then we need a dynamic link on this because this is going to be like looping out, so all of our data needs to be dynamic. And so if we go to post URL, nope, it's not that, my bad. It's actually a custom field, isn't it? So custom field, and what we want to do is click Jet Engine custom field. Then we want to select the download link. Okay, like so, and then update. Now I'm just going to leave this here, and we're going to see what this looks like when we output it. So we need to, I keep doing that, we need to refresh so it has the most up-to-date kind of content through the database. Now that we're back at resources, so guys, so you might have not realised, but I paused the video. I had a bit of a problem with this page kept crashing. I couldn't figure out why, so what I had to do was duplicate the page and delete the other one. No idea why it was doing that. It seemed to be tripping up. It went through like an endless loop of trying to load Elementor. I don't know why, but I figured it out. I've duplicated the page, deleted the old one, and we can continue. So yeah, if you find that is a problem for you ever going through Elementor when you're doing your builds, then I recommend, if you can't find a fix, even if safe mode doesn't work for Elementor, then try duplicating the page that you are currently working on and it doesn't work, and see if the duplicated version works. If it does, then just delete the old one just to save faffing around, and then crack on with the new duplicated version. Great, so here, now that we've refreshed this page, we can now input our cards. So what we're going to do is, what do we have under the listings? Okay, so we've got dynamic listing grid. Okay, cool. So we actually want our listing grid, or it might be dynamic repeater. So any one of these two will probably be good. So let's try listing grid. And we want to select our listing, which is resources, and boom, that's been output quite nicely. So actually we're going to go 2 columns. So it hasn't brought through the text, which is interesting. So we'll look at that shortly. We have our titles, we have our images, which are nice, and we can just, I'm just going to post this to have 12 on here. I don't know if there's going to be more resources uploaded or not, but currently there's 2. Awesome. That looks good. Good. And update. Great. So I'm actually going to come. Okay, great. Now I wanna edit these. Oh, which is great. We can actually come straight in here and we can edit directly inside. So we've got a featured image. Now I'm gonna add the link onto here. So we're gonna add the download link on here as well, which is custom field download link. Let's say, so we can make this downloadable. Our text title, we're gonna put that to H5, which is gonna be smaller. And then our download link is there. So we actually have post excerpt, which isn't working. That isn't working. So we're going to add text and see if it works this way. So post excerpt. So the excerpt is just supposed to grab a snippet of the content. So I'm just going to update that. Again, this might not work. So if we go back from here, no, that's not worked. It just creates a spacing. So what can we do here? Let's go back to our posts. So here are resources. Start with the spooky pumpkin. So we've definitely got our content in here. Okay, so actually what I think we might have to do, I think it's expecting us from here to click into the post and then land on a single post page, but I don't want that functionality. I want to simply just list these out and download them. That's all we're looking to do here. So I think what we can do is we can just create another custom field. So let's open this into a new tab so we've got access to our dashboard again. I'm going to come down to Jet Engine, post types, resources, and then under meta fields we're going to have description. That's going to automatically fill that. Let's remove the space. Now the field type is going to be text area. That's all fine. Now we can do 50%. Okay, and we can start to put these side by side. So that is fine. I'm going to open a download link. That's also going to be 50%. Okay, but I want the description to come first. I want it to go description, then download link. And also, what I'm going to do is we are going to remove the text area editor. Okay, we're going to remove that now. Can I undo that? No. Cool. Now, I've just realised that I haven't copied this text. Now if I refresh the page, you see that we've got title, description, and then update.
Motion detected at the front door.
Cool. Now, come back here. I just want to test this. We're going to edit this, and our excerpt, we're just going to delete. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go down to custom field, select, and it's not there. So I need to, let me just update. I need to refresh this so it refetches it from the database. Great, so I'm having this error again. I seem to be having this error. If anyone knows why this happens, please let me know down in the comments. I'd quite like to understand this. I mean, I can go away and do research, but I don't know what. I don't know if there's some endless loop. I don't know whether it's getting confused with our resources post type. If we change, let's change the slug on this to resources content. Okay, and update this post type. Now let's refresh. I think maybe the slug is the same, maybe. Let's purge the cache. Edit with Elementor. Come on. Right. Well, I think what I'll do, I'm just going to pause this video here. I'm going to leave it. It's 6:30 in the evening. I'll leave it. I'll pick this back up tomorrow. I'll try and figure out why this is doing this. And yeah, we'll continue tomorrow. Bye. Alright guys, it's a new day. I've managed to figure out what this problem was. So remember we left it in this page when I'm trying to refresh was just hanging, it was just loading, it wasn't working. And the reason for that was a conflict of the slug name. So this page, if we just come back to pages for a second. Okay, we've got this page called resources, and the slug for this is also resources. So if we edit this, you can see what this is. So our URL is /resources. So the slug is the part that comes after your domain name. So that was resources, but also our listing, let me just come back to admin for a second here, and we'll go back to Jet Engine and go to post types. Our resources post type also had a slug of resources. Okay, now I've gone in and I've changed this to resources content and it's fixed it. But what we had to do was add the post type slug here. So if we make a change to this for a second, you'll see that we have this option to update posts. We had to update the existing posts that were there. But also if we scroll down, go to advanced settings, it rewrites it down here. So we can actually customize the permalinks structure of the slug. So we also had to rename it here. And by having this separate or having it unique, it's fixed this problem. So I think what it was doing, it was getting confused with which one it should load and perhaps was in an endless loop. But anyway, we got there in the end, we managed to fix it, so we can crack on with this now. All right, so cool. We've got, we need to head back to our listings. So let's go to listings. We've got listing resources. If we, where is it? Resources, we can see them both here. So let's edit that one. So we've got our description. Now, why is this showing no data? There we go. Cool, so you can see that these are there and we have our text block now showing. So if we now come back and go to resources and come to the garden one, we now need to add our text in here as well. So let's scroll down. And click update. And let's just keep hitting Command R, which is my Loom restart link. So there we have that. So let's see what our layout options are for this. So we've got 2 columns. Is masonry grid. Let's turn masonry on. So that way, if we add more, it will just stack them. So if we had another one, it would start here and it would fill that gap. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a gap here, and the next one will start underneath this row. So we're going to say is masonry. We're going to say load more by infinite scroll. I think that would be a nice feature. Loader text. We'll just put loading. So that will come up with a loading identifier and also a loader spinner. Cool. And then we'll just click update. So that's that. That's our resources page pretty much done. So we can see what that looks like here. Very similar, as you can see, very similar to our homepage. Now I've just noticed that our resources option has been removed from the navigation. That was because in order to try and fix this endless loop, we had the problem of the loop, and my initial fix was to duplicate the resources page and then remove the old one. So it's actually removed that from, so we moved it from our site. So we need to go back to appearance and menus, and we're going to add this back in like so, and then drag that into the middle like that, and save the menu. Okay, that has been saved. So if we come back here and just, there we go. That looks great. Awesome. That now leaves us to the contact page. So if we, let's come and exit from here, and let's just remind ourselves what this looks like. Cool, so again we've got this 2-column layout. Oh, we have another image here. So we're going to save that to downloads, and we'll drag that into our assets folder shortly. But we have a very simple contact form. Yeah, that should be certainly easy enough for us to build. Great, so we've got phone, email, and social media links. Cool. Now, one thing I wanted to just check. Now, we would usually do this within testing anyway, so if you do miss anything, it doesn't matter. But one thing that's just occurred to me is we never tested these buttons. So if we click this, they're not working. Okay, which is super interesting. So let's edit this. Let's just double check what links are on these buttons. So it is pulling in the download link. Okay, let's actually physically test this page. Alright, so I took another pause there, was trying to figure out this problem. So we've got a problem with these links. Okay, they're not downloading. They're just coming up with a strange IP address down in the corner. So down here, if I hover, you'll see the little IP address appearing there. This seems to be a problem, but nonetheless, I have looked at CrocoBlocks because this is what we're using, and actually they recommend that we use the download button, which is a single widget, which is a part of Jet Elements. Okay, so that plugin that we actually installed in the beginning, we need to go and reactivate it. So if we head back to plugins and we activate that one, so we need Jet Elements and we need Jet Engine. So now let's go and we're going to refresh this. Let's edit. We're still editing this, which is awesome. And let's look for download. Okay, now we've got a download button option. We're going to place that in. And let's edit this. So download ID. So here we can now go to custom field. and we can pull in the download link, okay? Which is super interesting because what was happening was this little hover where it says 00084 and 00086, that's actually the ID of the attachment. So you can see this is one attachment and we've got 85 up here. We've got 84, 86. Okay, so that one is 86. So it's bringing through the ID. So what this button is allowing us to do is apply the URL from the ID and add it to the button. And so we're going to have download PDF. We don't want any subtext, we can delete that. And let's add an icon, which is the PDF icon. Insert that like so. And cool. Now we've got that, we can actually restyle it to look like the one that we have above. So in our button, we want our button icon to be dark. We want the button text to be dark. And where's our actual, there we go. So the button, background, color, there we go. And then we want typography, where it is, there it is. We're going to go primary, button sublabel, oh okay, it's that one, my bad, primary. There we go. And what size is it? 16. Bump that up to 18, and there we have it. Cool, let's delete that one and update. Great, now if we come back to, I keep doing that. There we go. So it's downloading that. It's downloaded pumpkin faces and it's downloaded Make Your Own Bee. So it's downloaded those two PDFs. That's now working. Okay, now we can move on. Now we can progress to the contact form. Great, so let's start here. I want to keep this open because actually what I want to do is I want to copy this content because I want the columns, I want it to be the same columns, and I want it to work in the same way as the other two pages. So if we had 2 pages, and now we're going to edit the contact page. Here I'm going to edit with Elementor. Awesome. So remember we have a brand new image that we need to add in. So first of all I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to paste that in there. We're going to remove the title from this page. I'm going to come back in, we're going to copy this. I'm going to paste that in like so. We're going to delete this because we don't need it. Okay, and we are going to make changes to these. Alright, so let's first of all just start by changing the image. So we now have the new one that we need to drag in. Let me just find that, bear with. No, it's not that one. There we go. That's that one, and let's go grab the text from the existing site. Okay, so it's not text, we've got phone, email, and social media. Okay, so we're gonna have to create some new headings here. So we've got phone, let's paste that in there. So I'm gonna copy this as well. And this might not be the best way to do it. I'm going to go tell, colon, remove that space, enter. Okay, now if we duplicate that, drag it underneath, phone, email, let's add the email address now. So we're going to copy that. Let's come back to here, paste that in. It's automatically recognise that, but it's too long. Okay, that's too long, so we're gonna have, wait a minute. It's not too long, it's fine. It's fine. It's because we're working on a smaller canvas, everything collapses in, but it's actually okay. And then we go to style, text color, primary. So interestingly, it's ignoring it because it's a hyperlink, which is why I think we need another option here. So if we go to, we search link, no, text. Let's scroll down, let's have a look at what we've got. So we can, in fact, use, where is it? We can use an icon list. Okay, we can just delete these. We can come in here, we can paste that in there, and then here we can add the link, which would be mail to, then the email address. And we can also include an icon if we like. Okay, we could switch this up a little bit. We can add an envelope, like so. We can probably remove these titles now, because I think, you know, these days it's pretty obvious what these are. You know, phone, there's a number, email, and we've got the icons to support what each of them are. So what I'm actually going to do here is we're going to duplicate that, and we're going to have the phone number above. So let me just click inside this one and grab that phone number, then clicking back in here, open it up, paste the number in, then we're going to go tell colon. So this tell turns into a link. This allows us to click it. Okay. From there, that's those two done. Icon wise, we're going to go phone, and we should have, cool, mobile. There we go. We can add a little mobile phone because it's a mobile number. Excellent. Style, icon, we can place in the middle, or we can place it to the side like that. I'm going to go with the middle. List, or text, shall I say, text, we want to change the colour of this. So this is where we can add it to our primary colour, and we can also change the icons to our primary colour. Okay, a bit more subtle. The gap, I think that's probably fine. The size, I'm going to up to 16. And text is fine. And then list, we're going to add some space, like so. So I think 10 pixels is probably good enough. So now we need to remove that one. We need to remove that one. I'm going to change this to quick contact. And delete that, like so. And also what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add two more. And what we're going to do is we're going to add the social media icons. So we're going to remove that, and we are also going to grab the social media links. Now, I haven't got these written down, so I'm just going to copy link address from there. And we're going to pop that in there like so. So we've got Facebook, let's change this to Facebook. And we can also add Instagram. So come back here. I'm going to copy this link as well, because we already have these links added to there. Paste, let's change this to Instagram. Cool. Now it looks a little bit weird in terms of balancing, so I think what I will do is I will add text, so we'll have Instagram. And then we'll have follow on Instagram. like on Facebook. And that's that. Cool. So that's pretty much that side done. Already looking loads better. Looks a lot tidier in my opinion, because there was unnecessary clutter in this version, a lot of space. Just didn't seem necessary. So that's certainly tidied that up. Now let's add the contact form. So this is a fairly big contact form, so we can just replicate this. We've got name, company name, phone, email, and please leave a message. So fairly basic. Now Elementor, let me just undo that. Elementor is pretty good at allowing us to quickly build out forms. So we can search for a form and we can drag that in. Like boom, we have a form. All right, really, really, really easy. All right, so we've got, what was it, name, company name, phone, email. Name, company name, phone, email, name. So we need to add one. This one is company name, and it's going to be text. Company name. Let's put company in the placeholder. And we've got phone. So I'm just going to duplicate this one. I'm going to change this to, I think there's a phone option. Tell, there we go. Phone. Brilliant. So is that required? Are these required fields? Name, company name, and email and messages. So phone is not a required field, but email is, company name is, message is. Please leave a message. Okay, so let's rename the label to please leave a message. I'm going to copy that, I'm going to paste that in there like so. We can just repeat that. So we've got a choice here. Do we keep these labels, or do we streamline this form and just have the placeholder text? I think we should try it with just the placeholder text. I think these days it makes forms look a lot tidier. So we are actually going to turn labels off, like so. And already you can see how tidy this is looking. Now, that just leaves us with styling this form. So we can go to buttons. Okay, we want to change this button. I want to make it yellow. And therefore, we are going to go to style. And buttons, background color is yellow, text color is primary, text typography, we're going primary, text size, I'm going to go 16, and then hover, I think we want to invert this, so we're going to go background color primary, there we go, nice. And I don't want this button to be so big, I want it to move over to the left. So I think if we come back to here and go to buttons, we can actually make this button smaller. Oh, we're still on, so content, then buttons, and we can position it over to the left like so, so it's a lot tidier. Cool, let's style the form itself. I just want to make these fields less harsh. So just like a subtle grey. So we can do that by editing the field, and we've got a border, which is 1 border color. This is where we can just reduce the intensity of those borders, like so. And there we go. And yeah, that's already looking like a great form in my opinion. Now, one thing that we do need to add is a checkbox to say that they've read the terms and conditions, or the privacy policy, shall I say. Contact. So just give it a form name. Then we're going to come down, and what's next? Great, we need to add a new item, and this is a acceptance. Okay, and here we put I have read the I have read and accept the privacy policy. That needs to be required, so they need to accept that in order to send the form, like so. So easy peasy. Now let's hook the form up, because we need to send it to an email address, and the way that we do that is under content. We come down to form options, click email, and then what we're going to do is we're going to email this to the email address on here, which is Becky. So email, and then there's a new request from Box or Graphic Design. So that's bringing in the website name, which is awesome. That's going to pull through all fields, and then the from email is that will change when we put the website on the actual hosting. So that domain needs to match the domain of the website, else it won't send. But the from name is going to be Box or Graphic Design. Okay, so when you receive that email, it's going to come up with Box or Graphic Design, so that's who it's going to be from. The reply to is important. So if we update this for a second, make sure that all those fields are coming through, it's going to re-grab it from the database. And now if we refresh and we edit this form, we can go down to email, and then here, reply to, we want to click email field. Okay, so this means when we get an email through from the website, so when Becky gets an email, they hit reply, so Becky will hit reply, and it will go automatically reply to the email address that the potential customer puts in this email field. Okay, otherwise what it's going to do is going to email, you're just going to reply to yourself if you have it the other way. So if we have it set to this, when you hit reply, it's just going to be replying to this email address, which is the website's email address, or the website's email function that sends us the email. So that's why we change it to email field. So when you hit reply, it's going to go back to the person that requested or submitted this contact form, like so. All right, so that's that. So we've got contact form, we've got resources, and we've got gallery. So let's just test this, and is going to happen. So resources, we already know that they're working fine. The download links work. This is fixed, that all looks good. Contact me, this all looks good, nice and tidy. Gallery, that's going to link to the gallery, but if we go to the home page, we've got this archives. Okay, now we want this, we want the gallery to be the home page. So what we need to do is we need to set a front page, and we can do that within our WordPress settings. So we've finished with this. We finished with this now, so we can come out and click exit. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to scroll down to settings and reading. And then here we get to choose the homepage display. So we have a static homepage, and our homepage is going to be home. Okay, and I'm going to save changes. So now, if we just refresh this, we're still on the home page, as you can see here. It's now pulling in the gallery. And if we click these, they load nice and big. It's on a carousel, so nice, simple portfolio. They continue to load as you scroll down, which is really nice. We've got our resources. These download, which looks much tidier than before. And we've got a contact form. So that's pretty much it. This website is done. Okay. Shall I say almost done, aside from policies. Okay, let's actually link this up. So we need to grab the policies from the previous website. So this is awesome, because you can already see that the length of this video, I know it's a few hours long, however we've managed to achieve a lot in that time. So let's just copy all of this, and let's come back to pages, and we're going to go to policies. We're going to edit that. I'm going to paste that in, and let's publish that, and click edit with Elementor. Alright, so that's got our content in like so. which is fine. We want to remove this page title and we want that to be heading 1 and then update. Okay, so that's the policy page done. Now we need to link it up here. So if we edit the footer, click on this link, and now we can link this up. And if we just search privacy, it's going to find that page. We can link it like so and click update. And now if we come back to the site and we just refresh and click policies, it's going to bring us to that privacy policy page. Okay, so real simple page. So as far as I can see now, that is all of the previous pages from the old website. And we've managed to do this through just finding the website in the Wayback Machine. And we've rebuilt it in Elementor in just a few hours. Okay, it's super quick. It didn't take very long at all. And hopefully you can see and you can start to appreciate that you will face challenges. Not, things don't always work, and it's about overcoming them. And you saw firsthand some of the problems that I faced throughout this, whether it was the sort of the loading screen just hanging there, whether it was figuring out how to add the download links to the buttons for the resources. Everything else very straightforward gallery, very straightforward contact form. And so yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, if you've enjoyed this. Let me know if you've found anything useful. Let me know if you come across any challenges, and if there's anything that I've not been able to figure out, please just let me know down in the comments if you have the answer for it as well. I would really appreciate that. So yeah, that is how you can very quickly build a website that needs rebuilding because it's been hacked. And you can potentially charge your clients for this. You might have a client that comes to you saying, I can't access my site, we really like it, but we want to save it, or we want to, can you get it back online? If your only option is to rebuild it, that is how you go about doing it. You can visit what it looked like in its previous state using the Wayback Machine. You can pull down the assets and you can just use that as a visual reference for you to rebuild the site for your customer. So there you go, that was fairly long, but hopefully you found it valuable, and if you did, please do give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And let me know down in the comments if you've ever been a subject or a victim to your website being hacked and you've not been able to save it, because it's so frustrating. Now, that's it for me. There is an end screen coming up with more content for you to check out on this channel, which you will find valuable, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.